Dr. Mark Changizi here with your Science Moment. Today I'm going to talk about multiculturalism and a kind of deep tension or contradiction that I see in the sort of the notion of multiculturalism. Now, I've been on about, in many Science Moment videos over the last 500 almost, on how culture, and I came to have a greater respect for culture as I came to be a researcher who studied the design that cultural selection gives us. It's cultural selection that gave us writing, for example, and writing is deeply designed to look like nature so that it can harness your visual object recognition system and turn it into a reading system. So culture creates and it designs. It's a blind watchmaker like natural selection is, but it works astronomically more quickly and does stuff to us. It's why we're the human 2.0s today with all these powers that we think of as human, but they're not human per se at all, including language, so writing, language, and the arts and music, and my books Harnessed and Vision Revolution get these, and Human 3.0. You have to have great respect for culture in the sense that it is a highly, deeply designed suites of structures, or it consists of highly designed suites of structures, including the very things that we often take to be central to our being human. And they're not central to our biological humanity. They're in fact not at all. Right? So Human 2.0 consists of these great gems of engineering, like again, writing and speech and language. So that, on the one hand, shows you should have all this respect for culture and for cultural design and how it's such a good designer. But part of having respect for any kind of designed thing, whether it's a piece of engineering or an animal like us or a wolf or a bear, or whether it's religion, which is deeply designed, or writing systems, part of having respect for that kind of design is that you understand it as a whole system that works as a whole to carry out some kind of function that maybe we're not entirely clear of, but it's highly designed to do something at a whole level, right? What you don't do is you don't take, let's say, the design of a bear and then the design of an octopus and put them into some kind of machine that combines them into some kind of monster. Well, that monster's not going to work, and what was it in the movie The Fly, that's how he ended up with these fly-like powers, because he was trying to beam himself someplace and his genes got just combined willy-nilly with that of a fly's, right? You create monsters that don't work, and it's usually dead on arrival. That's what happens if you take two wholly designed things that are for other stuff, for certain kinds of things, they're wholly designed to do something, and you combine it with something else. That's not how design works. Design works at the level of the whole, and each thing is under selection pressure to become some functional whole. So multiculturalism is basically saying, well, let's just take all of these designed wholes and squish them together into one, right? So what you created is basically like the monster in The Fly, and at least that one was not dead on arrival. He survived for a while and kind of changed his form or whatever. But multiculturalism is a contradiction. If you respect cultures, if you respect what cultures are, that they are highly designed structures which have culturally evolved for hundreds or now thousands of years to create suites of different kinds of things that people do, and that consists of religions and dinners and foods and interactions and kinds of interactions and all of the kinds of little stuff that we do that we take for granted because we just do them. You typically notice them in other cultures more than you notice them in your own. If you respect those things, you should respect that they potentially work and have design at the level of how they work all together as a whole, right? It shows your complete disrespect and disdain for cultures if you just say, well, let's just combine willy-nilly, non-organically, a whole bunch of cultures together. That's not how culture works. That is not showing respect for culture at all. And that was your Science Moment. If you're interested in books kind of along these lines, get a copy of Vision Revolution, which includes the origins of writing. Get a copy of Harnessed, the origins of speech and music. And my book, only available at changizi.com, my first novel, but also half of its sort of essays about how it is that we became Human 2.0 and how it is that we will continue to evolve, culturally evolve, or how culture will evolve stuff to harness us and transform us into Human 3.0s.